Matthew chapter number 18, verses number 21 and 22. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Jesus said unto him, I say not unto thee, until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Peter is taking the next progressive step in this story. This whole chapter is dealing about offenses. It started out with, we shouldn't offend the little ones, because their angels behold the face of God in glory. And how don't offend even one of these little ones. Then it went to, if someone did offend them, their punishment would be so bad it's worse than having a millstone tied around their neck and cast into the ocean. That's how bad it was. External offenses. And then it went to, if your eye offends you, or if your hand offends you, cut it off and pluck your eye out. If it offends you, get rid of the offenses. And then it went on to offenses inside the body of believers, how we were to deal with them and take them to first go to them one-on-one, then bring them before 2 or 3, and then bring them before the body itself. And if that doesn't work, then treat them as an unbeliever. So Peter goes and asks the next question. I mean, because it's still narrowed down to all these different types of offenses, and then you may have someone in a body that offends you. So Peter asks the next question. Well, Lord, how many times should I allow them to get away with offending me? And Peter picked the number of completion, 7. 7 is a pretty good number, right? And the master answered something that was totally unthinkable at the time. Not 7 times Peter, but 70 times 7. We should forgive. Now, 70 times 7. Obviously, that's not talking about someone that you occasionally meet. That's more than talking about a loved one that constantly is offending you and not treating you correctly. Because if this was a stranger on the street that offended you, you would forgive them and go about your business. They would not have the opportunity to offend you repeatedly over and over. So this is definitely talking about someone close to you, someone whom undoubtedly you love. And this is how many times Christ is saying. Now, Christ is not saying you count 490 times. You have your little sticks and you're ticking them off, and you're steady ticking them off, and you're at 490 offenses, and then they cross the line and aggravate you, tick you off that 491 times, then you go berserk, then you let them have it. And the master is saying, no. This is just an example of keep on forgiving. And this is a very hard thing for all of us to do. Some people just preach this and walk away like, you have to do it, you have to do it. But we will be candid. This is something that every person living has to constantly work on. Forgiving. Because sometimes people just don't understand. And maybe they're hurt. Obviously something is hurt inside of them, which is triggering them to hurt you. And the master knows about all of this. Somebody may say, well, that's easy for him to say. Well, you look at, they did Christ worse than any other living person. And one of his dying words was, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. And that is setting the stage for us. God, help us to have your love, and help us to forgive, and help us to be like you, Master. In the name of Yeshua, Jesus.